morning. This is KAP's lesson for Friday, September 3rd. This is our warm-up. This is a review from what we did on Tuesday. So pause and play when you're ready to go for the answers. All right. So anytime we have a list of numbers, 10 out of 10 times, we need to do what first?
Organize them.
Thank you, Michaela. What was that? Least to greatest. So y'all did that. Y'all tell me what the numbers are. 80.
85, 87, 89, 93, 98.
And what do I always do? Check myself before I write myself. A few of y'all on your test yesterday forgot a number and then it got your wrong column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. Okay, so then we need to find these 5 values, which we've sort of talked about already. My minimum value is what, Marcella? My smallest value, 80. Very good. My largest value, Carolyn, is 98. Very good. Now my median is the same thing as the middle, and because I have 7 numbers, is it going to split or is it going to be a number? Be a number. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Lots of y'all did not check on your medians. Y'all had like 5 numbers on one side and 2 on the other. Always check to make sure it's exactly in the middle. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. So because it's 87, does it get included in the first half or the second half party? No, it is the declared neutrality is the 50% line. So when I find Q1 is the same thing. What's the other name for it? Quartile 1 or the first quartile. I am only finding the median of those 3 numbers. So that would be 85. Very good. So that's going to be 85. And then Q3 is going to be 93. Are we good with that? That's all review that we've already talked about. Yes, ma'am. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. 85 and 93. And that's just our review. That was all we were going to do for our warm-up. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these 5 values. We're going to find them for our class set of data. Okay? So in the notes, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. We're going to order our heights from least to greatest. So I'll read them out and you can just copy. So we had 7, 56. We had 3 people at 56. We might need to write a little small for us all to fit in there. And then 1 person at 57. We had 4 59s. We had 3 60s. We had 161 and 162. We had 4 63s. I'm going to start a second line. 2 64s. 2 65s. And then 2 67s. I'm going to double check. $23. Okay. So if you need to double check, you can as well. We are going to make a number line that covers that data. So we need to make sure that on our number line we have at least the values from what to what? 56 to 67. I'm going to go ahead and just spread it out to 55. Because that's a nice number, 55. And I'm going to have it go, let's say, to 70. Okay. And then I'm going to go by 5. So that's 55, 60, 65. Oh, I can probably start that out even more. 60. So I'll read that about. Okay. That's going to be 60, 65, 70. And then I'm going to put my tick marks. Okay, so take a minute. Pause at home if you need to. Alright. So we're going to be making what's called a box plot, okay? We have already learned all the material that we need to know in order to make a box plot, but this is us actually making one. Okay, we're making it out of our class type. So now what we need to do is find those 5 values. We need to find our minimum, our maximum, our median, Q1, and Q3. So let's do that together. What is my median value? Actually, my minimum value. 50, I disagree. In our class set, what is our minimum? 56, very good. Our minimum value is 56. What is my maximum value, Justin? What's our maximum value? 67, very good, okay? There are 23 of us in class, okay? So, median, is that gonna split a number or be a number? It's going to be a number because we have an odd number of numbers. It's going to be in the middle. So take a second, find that middle. Pause and play when you're ready. All right, I'm not going to scratch out my numbers because I'm going to have the nice copy up here. If you slash on yours, that's totally fine. But I always double check. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers on that side. So on the other side, I need 11. That's not including this one. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So did I double check myself? Yes, I did. So 61 is my median. Very good. Okay. I think there was 11 numbers on this first half. Do I include 61 in the first half? No. Okay. So I need to find the median of 11 numbers. So take a second. Again, whatever strategy you use, if you cross off, this is where I might go ahead and cross off. So you can see. Okay, I'm going to go low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. I think it's 59, but I double check always. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers on one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers on the other side. So am I good? I am. That is going to be my Q1, is 59. Again, the biggest mistake I saw on y'all's test yesterday was people not double checking their work. Okay, because I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be the same on the other side. So I should be able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and circle. But again, I always double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I do it right? Yes, I know it seems tedious, but it helps guarantee. Okay, so we have our 5 values. The last little thing it says is our interquartile range. I think that's spelled wrong, but you know we're going with it. How do I find the interquartile range, Anthony? Do you remember how to find the interquartile range? Which 2? Can you tell me which one? Q1 and Q3. Very good. So I'm going to subtract 64 minus 59. Class, that would you just said, Anthony, it would be 5. Very good. Okay. So I'm going to record those over on my box. If you need to fill in any of those boxes, you can. I'm going to put that on our class chart. So we said our minimum was 56. Our maximum was 67, median was 61, Q1 was 59, 64, and 5. If I needed to find our range, take a second. What would be the range of our data set? Raise a hand once you get it. What's the range, Michaela? 11. Very good. All right. So we're almost there. We did the bulk of our work. Now we just need to plot that. Okay. So step 3 for making a box plot. Okay. So let's go through. Step 1 was ordering them. Step 2, making a number line that covers all of our numbers. Step 3 is the one that takes the most work. It's finding all those values. We now need to mark them with a dot above our number line. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put a dot. Let's do it in green. Median is 61. I'm going to just, so notice that my dot is above my number line. Yes, it's supposed to be. Yes, it's weird. Okay. So make a dot above it. I'm also going to put med for median above it. My minimum or my maximum at 67. Again, a dot above it. I'm going to put max. A dot at my minimum of 56. Min. Q1 is at 59. And Q3 is at 64. gonna do that on my poster off to the side, so I'm gonna pause the video real quick. All right, so now step 4 says to draw a box connecting Q1 and Q3. So I'm gonna scroll back up. I'm connecting Q1 and Q3, box like that. Bam, boom. Step number 5, draw a vertical line through the box where the median value is. Wow. And then step 6, extend the whiskers to your upper and lower extremes. Upper and lower extremes are just our minimum and maximum values. Wacha, wacha. Bam, you've got yourself a box and whisker plot. Yay! Okay. I'm going to do that over here on the same thing. All right, so it's a box and whisker plot because it has a box and there's a little line that go off our whiskers. Okay? Okay. All right, so when we were talking about quartiles and all that stuff, quartiles split my data into how many equal pieces? 4. Okay, yes, quartiles split it into 4, okay, 4 parts. So what percent would each part be? 25%, okay? The first quartile, again, that marks 25%. The median would mark 50, but between Q1 and Q1 and the median, that would be another 25%. Y'all agree with that? This would be another 25%, and this would be another 25%. But what sort of looks weird about that? Are all of those parts exactly even? No, okay? But that doesn't mean that we did anything wrong. That just means there's bits and pieces here. All right, let's sort of look at that. What might have caused that? I'm noticing that the median, does that look like it's right in the middle of my box? No. Okay, so let's look at our dot plot, okay? So for those of y'all on the recording, maybe look at your points between the Q1 and the median, and then from the median all the way to Q3. What do you notice? Turn and talk with your table groups. What do y'all notice? What do you think might have caused this part of the box to be smaller versus this part over here? Okay, turn and talk with your table. What did anyone say, oh, I think this could cause it? What do you think? This spread. What about the spread of your data? What do you mean looks uneven?
So the median that goes close to 1.
Yeah, like in the box, how like this is this between here and there. It's a little bit closer than here and there. So let's look at our numbers in our data set and see what's happening. Okay, Q1 is 59, then there's 59, 59, 59, 60, 60, 60, 61. What's like the difference between those two numbers? Just 2. Okay, let's look at the median compared to here. We have 61, 62. We have quite a few 63s, but what's the difference of spread between 61 and 64? 3. Okay, so not a huge difference, but is it different? Yeah. Did we still have the same amount of numbers in each section? Yes, but if you look at the dot plot over here, you see, I was trying to point out, you see how there's a lot of repeats with the 61s and the, 59s and 60s. You see how there's a lot of cluster there? Sorry if I'm blocking out. Y'all see that? Whenever, on a box plot, whenever there's a lot of numbers repeated, that makes a piece get smaller. When it spreads out is when, like, okay, you see how there's an orange dot, there's one person who has 61, one person who has 62, that causes it to spread out. If I had an outlier, like instead, oops, if I moved, let me do it up here just so the recording can see it. If Miss Lytle wasn't actually 67 inches, but she was actually, let's just say 70, that doesn't change like my split of my data. It just makes my whisker a lot longer. I still have the same number, but do you see how that would extend that thing out? Okay, when I have a number that's, if I have like fewer repeats and more spread on my data, that's what causes different pieces to be longer. If my data is super close together and repeats a lot, that causes it to be shorter. Does that sort of kind of make sense? Sort of, kind of. Okay, so let's sort of do a summary. These questions are up here. Okay, let's talk about other things we noticed about the shape and distribution. Okay, so what were some words we talked about with shape and distribution? We said, what were some of the words we used for shape and distribution? Peak, skewed, gaps. Okay, so let's apply those here. Can I tell if there's a gap in my data? Okay, if I just look at here, where is there a gap?
A1.
If I'm just looking at this, do I know that there's a gap at 61? If I'm just looking at my box plot, can I tell if there's a gap? No, I can't. Everything's covered. Okay, what about peaks? Where's our peak in here? On my dot plot, where's our peak? We have one at 59, we also have one at 63. You can maybe tell where there's like a cluster, but when there's a specific peak, you might not be able to tell in a box plot. Okay? Because how many different numbers did we find in a box plot? How many numbers did we use to graph it? We only used 5. How many people are in our class though? 20 something, okay? So, when we're making a box plot, is it showing individual data? No, okay? Does a box plot show individual data? No, it doesn't. Just no, okay? Instead, what does it show? It shows a summary, I can't read it, of a data set. It just shows a summary. Okay, it shows the spread. Okay, next question. If the length of a whisker or a box is short, what did we say? What do you think it tells you about the values of the data? If the box is shorter, what does it say about that data? Ava? It's what? Yeah, it's probably like repeating. Okay? When a section is shorter, you can say the shorter the whisker, the whisker or the part of box. You can say there might be more repeats. Repeats in number. Okay, or you could say it's more concentrated, it's like closer together. The shorter the part of a box or the shorter whisker, that means it could be more concentrated, like the range of that specific set is smaller. There's more repeats, it's not spread out. On the opposite side of that, if it's long, what does that mean? Big spread, not as many repeats. Very good. Okay, if they are long, values are more spread out. May have less repeats. Okay. So if we're looking at the shape and distribution of R's, okay, like this skew, is it heavily skewed one way or the other in our class? No, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to say it's mostly symmetrical. I'm just going to say it's mostly symmetrical. I do know the median's not that far off, but remember we just said that the difference between Q1, this was the difference of 2 and this was the difference of 3. That's not heavily skewed one way or the other. Okay, so I'm just going to say that the graph is mostly symmetrical. Okay. All right, just a little bit more vocab and stuff like that. Hopefully we can fill in the next little piece. You'll open the packet. Okay, once you finish writing. I'll play if you need. What do y'all think? A great job. Box plot. Or a box and whisker, it's the same thing. Uses a number line to show the summary, distribution, whatever you want to put. Distribution or summary, I like summary too. Of a set of data by using the median, quartiles, and extreme values. What is drawn around the quartile value? A box is drawn around the quartile values and the whiskers extend. each quartile to the extreme data points, and there are no outliers. In 6th grade, we're always going to include our outliers, and that's what they did, okay? The blank is marked with a vertical line. The median is marked with a vertical line, and the figure below is a box plot, okay? So if I did include this whisker, okay, let's just pretend for a second. Let's talk about the shape and distribution of that, okay? Let's look at the shape and distribution of that. If I did include that outlier, if I did extend my whisker, would y'all say that is symmetrical, left skew, or right skew? Very good. That would be right skew or skewed right. Okay, because that tail is sort of, there would be a lot of data here, and then it would sort of skew out. Don't draw that line up all over your notes, but do y'all see that? How there would be like a bulk of my data would be over there, and it's sort of dragged out. The tail is dragged out on that right side. Very good. Okay, last little bit. Box plots separates the data into equal parts, and those parts are called quartiles. Even though the parts may differ in length, each contains 25% of the data. The box plot shows the middle. The box would show the middle. It would be 25 and 25, so that's the middle 50% of the data. A common misconception is the median always divides the box in half. We just saw that it did for our class. However, the median may not divide the box in half because the data may be clustered towards one quartile. Okay, so hopefully we're like, okay, this sort of makes sense. What I want y'all to do now is to practice. Okay, you're gonna get a set of data. You're gonna find those 5 values. You're going to create a box plot and then talk about like the shape and distribution of that stuff. I'm going to give y'all quite a bit of time. We still have about 15 minutes. So work with your table groups. Like try it on your own, but then see what they all get. Okay, sort of compare, contrast, see if y'all agree. Okay, we'll come back together at the end of the lesson. Let's check in. So what was your maximum value? 15. Everyone, what's your minimum value? 1. Let's go ahead and put this in order just because. Can y'all read the list for me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 15. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Y'all sounded like robots, and I'm really crazy. All right, so minimum, maximum, because there's 14, it's going to split. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Split 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I checked myself before I wrecked myself. Okay, so because it's split, I need to do what? 5 plus 7 is, divide that by 2 is 6. My median is 6. Now remember, this 5 gets included on the first half party. Yes. Yes, it does, because it has not claimed to be the median. It still gets to be a part of this party. Same with the 7. Does it get to be included in the second half? Yes. Absolutely. Okay. So the median is 6. Q1 is going to be the median of these numbers, those 7 numbers. The median of that would be 4, but I'm going to double check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Q3. 9. Y'all agree? All right. Box plot. I need to plot those 4 or 5 numbers. I got one on 1. I got it on 15. I got it on 6. I've got it on 4, and I've got it on 9. Okay? Someone asked, it was a good question, since the median is 6 and it's not actually a number in my data set, do I still plot it on 6? Yes. Okay? You do still plot it on 6. Just because, that's the weird thing about box plots, the dots might not even be on an actual data value. Okay? That's why it's just a summary. It doesn't tell you how many individual dots there were. It doesn't tell you actual values at all, except for the minimum and maximum. Everything else can be splitting and therefore not a number. Can someone grab the door, please? Thank you. All right, I put a box around My quartile, very good. Median splits it, extend my whiskers. All right, let's look at B. That's sort of a different question that we haven't really seen yet. B says, what percent of the earthquakes were between 4 and 9 kilometers equal? I don't know. But let's look. Between 4 and 9. What's 4 on my graph? 4 is my, right there, in between 9, which is my Q3. Okay? So let's remind ourselves, what percent is from here to there? And what's from here to there? So together, that's going to be 50%. Okay? And then shape and distribution. Any questions? Does that hopefully wrap up and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay? Keep working, keep rocking. Record this. Sorry. The recording, check the key. Here's that next page. Pause and play as you need. All right, scrolling some more. That back page is your homework for this weekend. If you need to write that in your week at a glance, in your shield. Also, the Imagine Math benchmark. Maybe knock that out this weekend since you have a 4-day weekend. Check your keys on Canvas. Bye, thank you. You're doing